This news update is brought to you by
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness will be connect to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow.
This is the Barbados Today morning news update for Friday, October 23rd. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. Prominent businessman Ralph Bizzy Williams says Barbadians will have only themselves to blame if another foreign entity is allowed to take over one of the island's leading conglomerates. Williams broke his silence yesterday on the controversial bid by Trinidad and Tobago's Ansa Macal and the St. Lucia-registered SLU Beverages Limited to take over Banks Holdings Limited. He told Barbados Today Barbadians are too risk-averse, and he suggested that the takeover bid is likely to succeed.
I don't like the use of the word aggressive. It suggests that you're fighting, the word I would use is risk-averse. Barbadians are risk-averse. A dollar in the bank to them is solid money. A dollar in Banks Holdings, I bet you know they all sell. As soon as the price settles down, everybody can sell and put the money in the bank.
Barbados Today asked the businessman whether Williams Industries Group, which he heads, would be willing to make a play for BHL to ensure it remains in local hands. But he insisted he is not interested in buying it out. However, he complained about what he calls a conspiracy to stop local entrepreneurs like himself from developing innovative ventures.
There's a conspiracy against anybody at all who is trying to push to do new things, do things different. You call it the crab syndrome. That's what it is. Block them every which way we can. Don't let them, they might get, look man, that fella just, all he interested in is making himself a lot of money, man. We gotta stop him.
One of Barbados' top banking officials is raising concern that Warrens appears to be becoming the island's unofficial economic capital. The managing director of CIBC First Caribbean, Mark St. Hill, told yesterday's International Property Summit that the migration of businesses from Bridgetown was due to companies refreshing their plants, and he suggested that something needs to be done with the city to protect its heritage.
A big concern for us is Bridgetown, and I don't think anyone wants to see Bridgetown disappear, but how can we collectively get Bridgetown to be something else or be something more, because what we're seeing is movement out of town. And my friend Doug is in here, he would tell you once you lose that, you lose your culture. So we need to understand how we protect that. So what I'm getting to is that yes, all commercial homes, all the banks, everybody is looking to build new space or renovate. We're also seeing it in the retail space. We're seeing supermarkets looking at new areas. But just my plea is we should all collectively see how do we, Barbados is too small to allow anywhere to fall off.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Tourism Product Authority, Dr. Kerry Hall, is calling for a national dialogue on crime. Hall made the call as the agency rolled out its community-based program, which encourages visitors to participate in local activities and sample Barbadian cuisine in the homes of the ordinary citizen. She says although Barbados is still regarded as a safe jurisdiction, it cannot escape the issue of crime.
We can't escape it. I believe we have to confront it and dialogue in order to start doing something about it. My concern was just that as we depend on tourism to turn this stuff, and I keep starting every conversation with that. The reason I'm pushing tourism, because when I went to that forum, I started by saying, let me put on the table unequivocally, I want Barbados to be safe for Barbadians first. Just like how I want Barbados to be clean for Barbados first, I want us to be friendly to each other first. Because if we get it right as a nation and we start our reputation, our culture of excellence with each other or as a nation, the tourists will then come and benefit. I'm not advocating let's keep it clean for tourists, let's keep it safe for tourists. I want us to be clean, safe and friendly for us first. But I also said the reason why we should be concerned if crime affects tourists is because if the tourists stop coming, the backlash that we're going to get in this country will not be able to sustain it.
And as tourism officials prepare for this year's winter season, one group of workers in the sector has started a project to rid the island's beaches of sargassum seaweed. Barbados and several other Caribbean countries have been plagued by the seaweed for the past year. The Barbados Association of Tourism Employees has been cleaning up sargassum seaweed along the west coast. Executive Director Hal Austin says they also plan to take on other areas very soon.
The outstanding areas now are silver sands, where our seaweed specialists are busy removing this scourge, and another team will be cleaning from the Drill Hall Beach to Coconut Court Hotel. At this time, we have removed approximately 50 tons, 1.5 from the beaches, and as we wait additional funding, we will be tackling the east and the north coast so that by December the 15th, the official winter season, we would have retained back our coastline to its original state. We have instituted a rapid response team to remove any seaweed deposits from as early as 5:30 a.m. so that our guests can continue to have an enhanced visitor's experience enjoying our most treasured reserve.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
We now go to St. Lucia, where members of the Police Welfare Association have been meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony to discuss the fallout from the CARICOM Impacts Report. We get the details from HTS News Force.
The Police Welfare Association has been at loggerheads with the supposed conclusions of the inquest, which, among other damning allegations, alleged the existence of a death list supposedly used by an ad hoc police task force reportedly to assassinate criminal targets. The Police Welfare Association closely monitored and participated in the 2 days of dialogue, which President Cameron Law says were fruitful.
One thing I will say, a meeting with the Prime Minister of the country is something that does not happen very often, and I think it was a moment that was welcomed by every police officer. The Welfare Association, welcomed that moment. We appreciated the meeting, and I think it was very interactive. The Prime Minister actually took time out to attempt to answer every question that was posed at him, and I believe that the officers, who posed the questions, were satisfied to an extent with the responses that they got.
The Q&A with Dr. Kenny Anthony on Impacts, Law says, was thorough within the ambits of the Prime Minister's scope. The Impacts report remains with the Director of Public Prosecution.
On the international scene, the Pentagon says U.S. Iraqi forces have rescued dozens of hostages held by Islamic State in Iraq after learning of their imminent execution. But a U.S. soldier who was wounded in the raid died of his injuries. He was the first killed in action since U.S. operations against IS began last year. 5 ISIS militants were captured and a number killed in the early morning operation on Thursday. About 70 hostages were rescued, and according to defense officials, they included Sunni Arabs, 20 Iraqi security force members, and ISIS members being held as suspected spies. That's the morning news. There's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune into Channel 101 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news and sports. I am Mary Claire Williams. Have a good morning.